Guten Morgen. Good morning. Hang out here for a little bit as I do some stuff on a computadora. Try to make a point to get in the habit of doing some open hours and things like that, so that'll be good. Just try and test out. But yeah, just doing some quick stuff on a computadora. So pretty excited about that. Last little touches. Last night I actually got to work on Module 2. So for our HRCMP course that we're doing. So that is something I'm excited about. What's up with y'all? How are you doing? Good morning. Where are you? How long from step 5 to 6? There's no time frame, sadly. It really depends on the VA. There's such a backlog going on now that there's no way to really know how long something's gonna take, honestly. So that's just kind of how that goes. But good question nonetheless. Good question nonetheless. Put that right there. So let's see. Good morning to everybody across the board. We got a little Facebook action, a little TikTok action, we got a little YouTube action, X, and Twitter, and Instagram. On the desk, I'm on my laptop on the everywhere else, and on the phone here on TikTok. Alrighty, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. What's going on, James? How are you? Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, pretty excited. We got some cool stuff that we are putting together, so that is good. Let's see. Just got my sleep apnea diagnosed. Okay. How are you looking to file that? That's the question. How are you looking to file that? Um, if you haven't gone to our website, I'm live across a few different ways. So there's that. So let's go ahead and share some of that. British. No disrespect, but you look British. Farthest thing from British, but okay. What happened, James? Why'd you get arrested? Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, pretty excited. Got some pretty cool stuff that we got going on. If you haven't checked our website out at veteransnetwork.club, check that out. Got some updates on the website. I'm redoing the pages for our advisors, so that's something that I'm pretty excited about. And recorded module 2 yesterday, so we're doing HRCMP. That's the class that we have for on demand. So that been putting some final touches on it, kind of going over doing things again. So let me see if I have it up here actually. Dun, 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 dun. Well, sucks to be you. Bum 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 bum. Let's see. But do I have it up here? Actually, I do. Yes. So this is one of the things that we're kind of putting together. So I'm pretty excited for that actually. Module 2, talking about understanding CMP exams. So the course that we have, this is kind of like a sneak peek, I guess, of what's in the course. So different modules, different things that we're gonna have in there. I'm actually showing this on YouTube and all the platforms. I'm not doing it on TikTok because it likes to act crazy when you screen like this. Um, but yeah, so pretty much understanding CMP exams, bad exams, examples, tips, do's and don'ts, why preparation matters. So a lot of different things that are in this course across the board, 5 different cool modules, resources, and different things that'll be in there. So I'm pretty excited for that. Got through putting together a few more touches on module 2 and kind of recording all that. So that's something that I'm pretty excited about. This week we have Ace Your CMP this Wednesday, so that's one good thing that we have there. Um, hey Isabella, hey, what's going on? A Rock's in the building. What's going on? What's in the building? What's going on with you? But yeah, just popping in for a bit, just hanging out for a few, seeing what's going on with folks. Try to pop in more often here and there. I'll probably start scheduling some like open some office hours, and like right now I'm just doing some admin stuff, so I gotta do some work here in a little bit. But as I'm doing some paperwork, just kind of hang out. I might do some open office hours. I think that'll be pretty good. So someone on my team kind of brought it up that I think it'll be, we're always talking about claims and things like that. So instead of just always just answering questions, I might have my team kind of jump into and just have like an open hour, and you guys can just kind of see us going back and forth about things, and we'll usually dissect different things that we're dealing with. One of the videos that I put up, we just had a veteran who literally worked with us, and then got to round one, got to where he got to, went to do his own thing on his own afterward, and literally filed for a bunch of stuff and got a total of 14 different denials. You can't make it up. 14 denials because he just spray paint. He just freaking shotgunned everything, and that was just horrible. So, moral of the story: have a plan of action. Don't just randomly file for everything because it may not go very well. Let's see. Make sure I have everything on here. But yeah, what's going on with y'all? How are you holding up? Let me know the branch of service, years you served, hanging out for a little bit here. Open hour action, that's something I'll be kind of playing with, so that'll be good. Um, let's see, got some questions. Got a 10% and 8 things got deferred. Is that a good thing? Not a good or bad thing. It just means they just awarded one thing. They still have to work on the other stuff. So deferred just means they just pushed it off and they're still working on it. So nothing that's like good or bad. It's just a process on their side. Tonight's for today. It's pretty simple, subjective, right? So when did it start? I have a playlist on my CMP. Check the tinnitus one. I do like a little deep dive, and I actually show on the graph there. But for the tinnitus side of the house, right, you didn't have it before, you have it now. When did it start? The recurrence of it, symptoms that you have, and if you're around exposure to different things, noise exposure, you're going to speak about that. But that's the biggest thing that gets folks, right? Sometimes you have people who don't realize that it's not just a humming sound. Sometimes it's a ticking sound. Sometimes it's intermittent. But the biggest thing is you didn't have it before. You have it now. The symptoms, how does it present itself, and when did it start? So pretty simple, subjective. You might get a hearing test, but again, that's not going to determine whether or not you have it. So it's a pretty straightforward thing. Had my GERD reduce, but with the info you gave me to give them, I was able to keep it. All right, Hellas, that's what I'm talking about. Man, that's awesome. I'm glad that helped you for sure in getting that. So sweet. I do remember. I do remember. We talked about it. So when did that happen? Was that recently? I know we talked not too long ago. So I know we had a phone call. You had a reduction for your GERD that they proposed, and you got reached out. We talked about it, and then you pushed back, and you were successful. So look at that. I like it. I like it. Sasha. I got okay. So we got that one there. But yeah, Hells. I remember. I remember. So did that bring you down? I forget what your total rating was, but I know for a fact that was like the whole statement and things we talked about. But man, that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I gave all the info on the meds and all, and they gave it to me claims 2 days ago. So that just feels like I just saw. Yeah, I was literally on a treadmill last night in the gym on a stepper because the treadmills were all booked up. I was on a stairmaster. But yeah, I was saying I'm gonna start to try to do some like off. I'm gonna try to schedule some office hours. So I'm live right now here on TikTok. Over here, I'm on YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm showing the computer stuff on Twitter and everywhere else. On TikTok, I'm not. When I try to use like an encoder to show like the screen, it just acts real funny on TikTok. So I can show like websites and things when I'm on a computer. So I like doing things on a computer. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna start scheduling some office hours, and then I'll probably do some team office hours. So that's something I'm actually looking to do, and pretty much it's kind of in Zoom with my team. We're always talking about claims anyway, so from time to time I may start doing and not MySpace. I'm good to go. So actually, we should coordinate something. I'm finally off the mends again. This last year has been, I don't know how many damn surgeries I've had. It's like I take one step forward, two steps back, but we'll keep low crawling. Let me see. But yeah, so doing some office hours with the teams, just kind of pop in, talk claims, things like that. We're always going back and forth with some things, but um, that's something I'm start doing. A lot of that will happen on YouTube as well, so kind of be on the lookout for that. Um, let's see what else. What else? Videos up now on YouTube for the 100% protection. So that's one of the big ones there. Next week, depending on the questions, I'll make a point to. I have another one. So every Thursday, we're dropping a video there. This Wednesday, Acer CMP is going on. Let's see. But yeah, congrats to Hellas. I spoke to, yeah, we had a call. They proposed him for a reduction for his GERD. And obviously that, was very triggering. Had a call, and I looked over one of the statements that he had submitted. He went forward and did great things, and he's good to go now. So I like that. I like that. Do you think it's best to see a VA doctor or private doctor? Honestly, it's wherever you can get into. I'm not team VA or team anti VA. A doctor's a doctor. It's just more, if you're going to go private, you're going to have to provide that documentation to the VA to be able to have them review those records and things like that. So it's a doctor's a doctor. Honestly, it's just we got to do some legwork. That's all. Optimistic pessimist. Good morning to you. Thanks, Asha. I appreciate you. Smashing that screen. Let's see. Can I use hypertension medication as evidence for secondary claim or a letter? So the medication is one thing, but more so you're arguing, again, if it's secondary, what's the nexus to it? You have a nexus connection, but how are you making that argument there, right? So a letter would for sure help in some shape, fashion, or form to make the argument, not just the medication. The medication alone is not telling the story as to why that should be service connected. So, a few more things may have to go in there, but it definitely is proof. Dun, 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 dun. Greatest content for veterans seeking benefits. We're pretty, the cat's pajamas. You know what I mean? Literally, in many ways, in more ways than one. Hello. Let's see. From 2 weeks ago, understood your job. We have a lot of. We need to prevent it before rushing again. Good seeing you. Dun 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 dun. Let's see. What else do we have? Jesus loves you, brother. Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you. John 3:16. Good morning once again, sir. Can you still reduce? One's P&T. Can you be reduced later on? No, and I covered that in that video that I put up. But the long story short is not, again, people I think have a misunderstanding what P&T means. They don't just hand these things out. Statistic wise, there's 18 point something million veterans, and out of that, 1 point and change million are 100%. So it's not something they give out as people would think, regardless of common belief. That said, if they're sometimes a veteran goes to 100, they won't give them a P&T because it's the likelihood of improvement. Conversely, if you have the P&T side, they're saying the likelihood of improvement is not there. So if there's fraud involved, obviously that's an issue. Sometimes there's erroneous reexaminations that happen. That's an issue. And obviously sometimes the VA just kind of gets it wrong, but not something like they're going to come and try to reduce you. That makes no sense for that. They're not going to give you a P&T. They'll just reexamine you when the time comes. Now, if there's marked improvement and other issues, that happens. Again, everything I say, take with a grain of salt because one, it is the VA. And guess what? They get it wrong sometimes, just outright. There's no rhyme or reason for it. So I never want to come across to say like these are definitives because it's the VA. You're 100% P&T. They should not reexamine you and then you get a reexamination letter. So a veteran's like, DP, you're full of it, or the bull crap, I got called back. Yeah, because the VA fucks up. I don't know, no ifs, ands, or but about it. They get it wrong. They call people in erroneously. It's documented, and I cover that on the YouTube video. So go check that out. Yep, exactly. I covered that on the YouTube video there. So, and again, I'm really making a push for the YouTube side of the house, more so because again, I can't control what's going on other platforms and algorithm and things like that. However, on that side of the house, what I will say is it's better for like long form content. They're adding more things. It's been around forever. It's the biggest search engine there is. So for the context of what we do, it's a good place to be able to reference things. Because here on other platforms, like you go down Facebook, where's that video I posted? You gotta search forever. Or on TikTok, you get lost because I have like over 1,000 videos there. Whereas on YouTube, it's easier to search things more specific. So I find it's a little more better for the things that we do. So that's my goal there. I wasn't really a fan of it, honestly, because I just felt like it was so cringy to me because of some of the other content creators fear baiting and doing things like that. So I would say that now with what's going on politically and all these different things, I think YouTube now is more receptive to the kind of, the way I spin things. So I'm not the one to sit here and just try to clickbait you with dumb shit. I like to be able to actually give an answer, give some assurance, give some information, and, it's just different. So a while back, my spiel is that I didn't feel too comfortable on YouTube just because I didn't feel there was traction there for kind of how I did my thing. So it's just like, you know what? If y'all want to go listen to this dude with 5 secrets of how to unfuck yourself, then have at it. But then the same people get screwed, come back later because, make claims are us, disappears when you need them, and they don't show up. Crazy concept, right? But we're getting more traction now there, and more so veterans are more receptive to the tone that we're bringing, especially with all the political uncertainty, things that are going. People are triggered. There's anxiety. There's a lot of unknowns, regardless if you're left or right, voted this, voted that. I don't do the politics. I look at the veteran mental health perspective of people are going through hardships. They're anxious. They're scared. They're afraid. They don't know what's going to happen. So there are no definitives, right? But we can be educated. We can hold the line. We can support each other, and we can have a cool, calm demeanor towards uncertain times. I think that's what bothers me most with content creators in this space. It's that there's so much fear baiting because fear gets clicks. Fear gets clicks. If I do a video saying you're losing your 100% rating, immediately people just gravitate towards it. I do a video that says, effective ways to maintain a rating, dick. You know what I'm saying? So there's a level of game you have to play, obviously. But my issue is that to needlessly, you know, fear bait veterans, I have a problem with that because you're already triggering someone who's already in a situation of mental health, you know, negativity. So now someone who's relying on their benefits feels they're going to lose their benefits. You're pushing them to a place where they're completely terrified and they're scared. They're dependent on these things. And you're not giving them solutions. You're just fear baiting them. So it's almost like this is all going away. Like I had someone reach out to me because someone shared a dumbass video about someone saying they're taking all our benefits. The fuck they're not. Oh, but this administration, stop. Stop. What are your sources? Again, I'm not saying things can't happen. I'm just saying we have to attack this. My hope when I'm saying this is veterans that fear base and fear monger, I question what they did in the military. If you were in the military and you led servicemen, women, did you go into, hostile environments or strenuous events terrifying the fuck out of them? So I'm leading a unit of soldiers, and the whole thing is like, hey, we're going to Iraq, but the shit's kind of crazy. We may not make it back, so we're fucked, guys. Who does that? Like, that's not how we led, man. That's not how we freaking had leadership. You're supposed to command and control things. You're supposed to instill a sense of confidence and leadership and support for your subordinates, for your troops, for those around you. So when I see veterans making content just terrifying the fuck out of people, it's like, what in the E4 fucking mafia is this? Because apparently you never fucking did a shit. And again, it's not dick measuring what you did in service. It's just saying that if this is the way you're talking to veterans and how you're supposed to be helping veterans now, I really question what you did in service because You're acting like the freaking sky is falling and you're freaking out for no reason. You're providing no context, no education, no training, no support, no guidance. So, how does that help anybody? Oh, that's right. It gives you fucking clicks, which in turn gets you paid. You know what I mean? So I think that's the disconnect that I had a long time ago when it came to like the social media side of the house, because people that know better are like, you know what, look, I'm not playing this fucking shit. Fuck that. I'm good to go. People that I know around me, they're locked and ready to good to go, and I move out. But the problem is then people who shouldn't be talking are the ones that talk. So what I will share is I had a gentleman that I met some years ago, and he was the one that actually pushed me to social media. So it was actually I was in Florida for an event, and he was a social media manager person, and we're talking about stuff. And this is where I was. Um, oh, I recorded a video and sent it to some folks on my team. I'm holding a Thundercat sword, and they're like, "What is happening? Why are you holding a sword?" It's just me just talking crap about acclaim stuff. Um, but my point is, I'm at this event, and the whole concept is, "Hey, what do you do?" I said, "I work with veterans. I retired medically, yada yada yada. I work at claims, help veterans, things like that." And he goes, "What do you do on social media?" And I go, not much, man. Like I can't play that game. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of fucking dumb shit going on online. And he said to me, and again, he was a social media manager and he managed talent, things like that. And what he said to me was, that's the problem. There's people who literally, um, there's literally people who have a skill set, who have knowledge, who have information, who don't create content. So what ends up happening is people who, quite frankly, don't know shit are the ones creating content. And the people who do know shit will not play the game sometimes to get the right message out there. So if you have something to say and you have a skill set and you have knowledge, and you're not willing to get over the cringe or the fact that it's social media and it's annoying because there's dumbasses out there, then all that's left is a bunch of dumbasses creating shit, and then the information is dumb. So it's like, again, I'm not making it political, but it's like, man, there's no good politicians out there. Well, then get the fuck up and run for something. It's almost like, oh, there's a pothole over here. Well, then go fucking fix it. Like, we can point to problems, but we don't offer solutions. So when he said that to me, I had nothing to say because I was like, well, damn, man, you just punched me in the mouth, because he had a point. He's like, you can't complain that there's no good information out there for your demographic of veterans because people are just fear mongering or just talking for clicks. Well, that's all is going to continue to happen because the people who don't know much will play the game, but the people who do know something choose to not play the game. So what ends up happening? What we see. So that was one of the things that, many years ago kind of started me on the path of saying, you know what, fuck it, I'll just show up and I will try, right? And that began the process of doing things. So fast forward, here we are. But then you start adding now other platforms and, yada, 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 YouTube being one of them, where you have so many talking heads and people with fancy fucking names. And it's like, I'm not very creative. I don't have that whole I'm fucking tactical fucking Billy and shit. I'm just fucking DP. I am who I am, and I get it, but I don't got time for the whole marketing thing and shit. I'm just showing up, trying to solve a problem and doing it the way I do it. Um, and that's what it is. So I believe that your vibe will attract your tribe. I'm not for everyone, and I'm good with that. But that's the whole point for, you know, trying to show up, right? As long as we can help someone, I think that matters. And if someone else wants to see somebody out there freaking, shaking their ass and fucking talking dumb shit, then have at it. So that was my 2 cents on that. But that's kind of a little background on, why I finally decided to just keep yapping. Took me 10 years to get P&T, 59 to 100%. Shout out to you. That's what's up. Good morning. Okay, we got that. Right, we got that. Yeah, yeah. I do classes. Again, check my link in bio. So we do all that stuff. So I do classes, CMP classes, denials, first claims, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, check us out. I have a rating of 80%. I've been doing mental therapy through the VA. I want to do a secondary. A secondary for what, Don? Do you know? What are you looking at? Um, and again, for those popping in, just kind of hanging out for a little bit here. Excited. I knocked out module 2 of our HRCMP class, so got another one or two to go. Put some final touches, so I got to edit that, but that'll go into our course. So that's something I'm pretty excited about. HRCMP on demand. I like teaching live classes, but sometimes people can't make it to a live class. So having an on-demand course, I think, is going to be dope. So finishing recording that, we'll have the different resources built out for that. So there'll be handouts and different bonus materials there that'll go with that. So that will be pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. So that'll be out here by the end of the month, and then we'll start working at some new things. So I have an 80% rating, mental health. What's the 80% for though? That's the question. Yeah, the RE code, that's different. I don't really deal with that stuff there. That's more of an upgrade code specifically to what's going on. But again, what's he trying to do, I guess, with that upgrade? Pressure mix limitation. Yeah, so not one thing doesn't end. So again, you have a rating for one thing, but now your argument is saying that how this affects you in those other areas. It's a valid argument, right? So it's not so much that it affects your rating. So this is also a misconception when it comes to claims. Again, it is the VA, but if I have migraines and now I'm arguing that I also have diabetes, one doesn't take away from the other. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a thing where, like, no, and arguing a new claim doesn't affect the old one. It's I still have that for sure. Now in turn, I'm arguing that I have this new condition. Are you a veteran? It's in the name. I am. Good morning and blessings to everyone. What's going on, Risky? 100% P&T. Plan to use the VA healthcare for some of my condition, but will affect, but not all. I'm 100% P&T and plan to use the VA healthcare for some of my conditions, but not all. Will that cause the VA, I assume, to do a thing? You can honestly no. So that's also a misconception. If you're 100% P&T, we have to understand something. First of all, if you have, uh, well, there's VHA, there's BVA, Veterans Health Administration, Veterans Benefit Administration. You getting healthcare is separate from the benefit, right? It's like, am I going to lose my Social Security disability because I haven't gone to the doctor? Right there, it's a little more complicated than that. Obviously, if you have a condition, you're going to have a level of continuity of care in some shape, fashion, or form, but it's not like one thing takes away from the other. So I say that to say that you can be rated by the VA and never step foot into the VA for anything. I can tell you veterans who are 100% P&T, they've never got treated at the VA. They've never got health care at the VA. The only thing to do with the VA is get their rating and they go home. That's it. So they don't step foot in there, and it's their prerogative. So I don't have to, as a veteran, go to the VA for an iota more than my disability rating. I can choose to go to my own providers as I choose to do that thing. Um, but as far as the question is concerned, no, you can be seen for the things you want to be seen. And if you don't want to be seen for other things, you don't have to. So one thing does not affect the other. However, bigger picture, the VA does mess up from time to time. They do things that are dumb, even if you don't do a thing. And it's like, look, my migraines are my migraines. I see my neurologist as I see them. The conditions haven't changed. You want to go check? Let's go check. You know what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, the situation is a situation. So there's that part. Um, let's see. I had my mental health exam yesterday virtually. It lasted 20 minutes or less. Don't know if it's good or bad. She asked 6 questions. So the question becomes now: was it an increase or was it a new claim that you filed for that? That's the question for that one there. Morning. Thanks to your tips, MST survivor, and your empathy and info helped me greatly. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're welcome. And that's why, and that's kind of what I was trying to get at, with my little rant here, where it's like, you know, when you have a veteran who has experienced MST or very traumatic events, we have to meet our veterans with empathy and care. That to me is everything. If you've ever been to one of my classes, here's the punchline. When I do my navigating VA claims class and I talk about the basics of what we do, I end that class with a quote from Maya Angelou, and people look at it and they're like, "What does Maya Angelou have to do with VA claims?" And for me, it's the ethos behind why my company operates the way I operated. Like why I'm here this morning doing this while I'm doing some admin. Why I'm on a treadmill yesterday, Stepmaster at midnight. Because I think people are going to forget. I agree with Maya Angelou in saying that people will forget what you said, They will forget what you did, but not how you made them feel. The problem with veterans is we're disenfranchised, right? We feel disconnected. We feel we're just a number. We feel the system doesn't care. So if you're going to get help, however you get it, you want to have a level of support that you feel comfortable. We had a veteran who worked with us for a year. They went from 0 to 30, I believe it was. And after a year, he, male type veteran, then said, "Hey, look, I'm ready to talk about some issues." And it's just like, yeah, we're working on your stuff. And no, it took him a year to open up that he was actually the victim of MST. So I say it to say that it took a year from him to feel comfortable to get there. He got, the initial ratings for his back and his knee and things like that. But the real issue, it takes time. It takes, a safe place to have that conversation. And that's not something that you just can get in a quick flash. I did a video the other day about a veteran who, came to us, put a plan in place, and then ghosted us because their friend said go somewhere else. And guess what? They went somewhere else. They went 70 to 90, 90 to 100, and the VA now is reducing them from 90 to 70, or not 100 to 90, I believe it is. And the veteran is kind of like, oh, company that she went to is not responding to her. They want to charge her twice, but they're not responding. They're not there. And you sit there and you're like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, sometimes these organizations, they'll try to sell you on a quick result of a number of a thing. But here's what the problem, right? To your point, what happens when you get denied? What happens when the VA wants to reduce you? What happens when things don't go according to plan? What if it takes us 2, 3, 4 years to get that win, to make that argument? The system gets it wrong. It may take a few rounds. You want to have somebody in your corner who's going to be there, who's going to show up. So for me, it's consistency. For me, it's like, look, I'm okay with, having that measured approach to get to a result, because when it's all said and done, you can literally, go back. You can't get to the bottom of my TikToks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got videos for years because I've been doing it for years. But it's not about, who's bigger or better. It's just more consistency. We continue to show up. Every Wednesday, I've taught a class for the last 5 years. I've done a CMP class every other Wednesday for the last 5 years because it matters. I like meeting our veterans where they're at. So, it's the little things that I think, sometimes gets missed on people. I've been out of the Army for almost 10 years, rated at 50%. I haven't filed all my claims. Yeah, Andy, for sure. Hit the link in bio and have a call with my advisors. I would say for sure. If you go to, and actually I have it right here. So when you go to the website, literally, I would suggest go there, take a look around, hit the About Us, and literally check out the team and see, who you feel comfortable talking to. And that's the one difference here on my side of the house is when you go to the website, there's actually real people there. I have a problem when I see supposed veteran organizations and you see them and you try to figure out who's actually behind the scenes. You got to go everywhere to figure out exactly who is the person. There's no faces, no names. It's a whole bunch of hiding behind curtains, because if you knew who they were, it'd be another conversation. Dun, 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 dun. But I'm glad that helped you. Tips, 8 months. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I am talking about. Yep, Sasha knows. Sasha knows. Cookies in the building. Let's see. Do people claims ever get denied PTSD without the opportunity? Yeah, sometimes, because depending on how you're filing the claim, if there's not enough things, sometimes they may not call for a CMP. So how the claim was filed, the things that maybe were missing, etc., that may be part of it, and sometimes they get it wrong. How long should you wait to push for 100 after you've been bumped to 90? There's no time frame, Terry. Arguably, it's more so if the symptoms are there, right? It's like, if I literally had I tore my pec in the summer and I had surgery, and let's say I fall 2 months later, break a toe. There's no waiting. I have another injury now. I have another situation that I have to deal with, right? So there's no time frame on that. If you have an argument that you can argue for said increase or new claim, you make the argument. My brother needs. We already did that one. Okay, we did that one. And the team is pretty awesome. I will say that. And even on my team, I have. If you look at the crew, I have two XVSOs and an XVSR. One of my advisors, she's a MST rater herself as well. So we cover the whole landscape. One of my advisors, our chaplain, he's a double organ transplant recipient. So, yeah. How long do supplementary claims take? It's been 95 days so far. Sadly, Mark, it's just it's a herb and wait situation. There's no time frame. New claim, a higher level, supplemental. With the way the VA is going, I've seen them go in days, weeks, and months. It's just sadly, a toss. Who and how request a CMP exam? You file a claim to the VA, they request one for you. Still pushing 400, stuck at 60. Yeah, but this is the year, Sasha. This is the year. This is the year. I think that's my problem, just not wanting to go back to the trauma and living and the band-aid off. And yeah, so and that's the biggest thing too. When we have veterans that have very traumatic events that they're, looking to file, right? I always say when it comes to things like especially MST, it's 10% what happened and 90% what is happening, right? And I think mentally, and again, it could be for anything, but for any condition, it's like, okay, I fell down. That's 10%. Now, here are the issues I'm dealing with because of the fall. That's 90% of my conversation. I think sometimes as veterans, we think that we have to unpack everything and talk about everything that happened the day I fell down and hurt myself and what I was wearing and the time of day and all the things. And it was there I was and I fell and da, 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 da. No. A thing happened. What is happening? So mentally, for those that are hearing, think about it from that perspective. A VA claim is a conversation in the present tense. It's about what's happening, not so much about what's happened. Something obviously happened that's causing what's happening. But that mental shift, I think, helps a veteran to understand that while I was violated or I was experienced, victim of this trauma, I in turn am identifying that this did take place. Yes. And that is hard to talk about and have to unearth. But then now I'm speaking to my current symptoms and how that event now has changed the, trajectory of my life, how it affects me, how it impairs me, and the issues that I'm dealing with ever since that day forward. My relationships, my interpersonal, my social, my occupational, etc. Right. And I think mentally, if we have that kind of happening in our minds, it helps us get through there. And then the other part too, to Sasha and everybody else, it's support. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm by far one of the most empathetic persons out there when it comes to this claim space. But by the same token, when it's go time, you need to have that support in your corner too, because you're going to want to give up. You're not going to want to get back up. And I'm the type that's like, look, once we go, it's almost like a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll do everything we need to do to get up to that point of fight time. But when we're in that fight and I'm in that corner, I want to give up. The fuck you're not. You sit your ass down, ding ding, drink some water, patch them up. Her eyes all swollen. She don't want to get back in the fight. You gonna get back in that damn fight. We ain't come this far to quit. And sometimes you need that. You know what I'm saying? Like in the military, remember it. Like you didn't want to do that run. You fell out. You were tired. You were winded. And guess what I did? I turned around and said, the fuck, you're not falling out. Turn it around. Pick her up. You know what I'm saying? We're not done running. We still got another mile to go. And you dig deep and you did it because someone was with you. That support goes a long way. When it comes to this claim process, it's the same thing. The claims is easy. It's the process that sucks. And having support with you along the way, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. What's up, Chloe? Appreciate you. Been out the Army for almost 10 years. Okay, we got that one. New claim. Yeah, so that's kind of short, risky. I would say write a memorandum for record on that. Check out a video I have on bad CMPs. I'd say write a memo and just kind of submit that to the claim, pretty much stating what happened, how long it took, if you felt that things were short or whatever. I would definitely look into that. So check out my video here on YouTube that I have in there too for bad CMPs, and it'll kind of give you some steps there as to what to do. Not saying you had a bad one, but that seems kind of short for a new claim. You want to make sure that you're able to express to them what happened, right? Did you feel heard? Did you feel seen? Do you feel like they were rushing you through the process? So the statement and memo you're saying, hey, look, this was kind of quick. I could unpack certain things. I don't feel that maybe this captured the current, reality of my condition. And then you can fill in the rest. So that's what I would say for that. Brian, what's going on with you, brother? I leave active duty July, submitted my BDD claim. All right. Nice. This week we're doing issued CMP in my class. So check that out. Thank you again for all you. Appreciate you, Paul. Next is DBQ warranting denied to certain levels of severity. Due to having, I have a Nexus DBQ warranting Denied to ascertain the current severity level. Exam was 100 miles away. I did not attend the exam due to having nexus. Submitted second supplemental claim, attended exam. Examiner warrants 100% marking total impairment. However, nearly all symptoms marked still associated to 70. With one symptom for 100, do you think the VA will continue to 70 or will be granted? It depends, honestly, Brian. That's really like a crapshoot there. That's a whole lot to unpack. But what I will say is that, you can appeal that. Again, the 70 to 100 jump is not the easiest jump out there for sure. But uh, it can go either way, sadly. And if it doesn't go and you stay at the 70, again, is that the only argument you're making, right? And as far as not going, I would have asked for a reasonable accommodation to have maybe done a telehealth one, not showing up to CMP exam. Sometimes they'll use that as and they'll penalize you for not showing up. So if it was that far away, they could have done a telehealth exam for that. So that's kind of jacked up that they did that. Good morning. Thanks for all you do for fellow veterans. Appreciate you, Jay. Okay. How long do supplementary claims take? 95 days. It takes a while. Total pressure, man's not lying. Facts. How do you select people? How do you select the people that the veteran, my husband is able, veteran that helps others? I don't know what you're asking. Try that doesn't make sense to me. Just ask it again. How do I select people for what? For my team? I've used this company's services. I recommend them. Salute to you, Total Pressure. Appreciate you. Somebody I know at the VA said I pretty much have to say I'm having unaliving ideation. That's a nah, I don't believe that, Sasha. I don't believe that. I can tell you, I don't drink, I don't do narcotics, I don't do any of those things, and I have my rating. I didn't have to walk in there saying certain things that I don't have. Um, so the unaliving aspect is one symptom of many. So it's the whole picture that has to be kind of conveyed. I would argue to you there are veterans that are a 70% or 100% rated and they don't have ideations of checking out, but they have other symptoms that are present there. So it's more than that. Anytime someone gives you like a whole thing, like you got to pretty much say you want to check out. No, that's one symptom, but there are other symptoms as well that can argue to that level of impairment. So, in my experience, I would say that's not so much the case. And again, the biggest thing too is like what's going on that makes you feel like you're in that place, because we can have gross impairment of thought and process. We can have, for many people, hallucinations and delusions. Like I know a veteran who was MST survivor. Her husband was the perpetrator and he was locked up. Long story short, she sees him. She sees him everywhere. She sees him in corners. She sees him in crowds. And the fact is, he is incarcerated. But you can't tell this woman she does not see the perpetrator, her ex husband, and that is a full blown hallucination. She is delusional. She is having a mental health dilemma where this thing is so vivid in her mind that she sees it. um that's a symptom at the 100 range, right? But again, you can't just sit there and be like, oh, I'm having hallucinations and delusions. Like, no, no, like there's what's happening to this veteran, right? And in this veteran's case, this is causing her all these other ripple issues. She can't sleep, she can't be in things, she's in a shelter now. It's a whole slew of things, right? Yeah, you can shoot a DM. It might take me a while to get back to you, so understand my DMs are flooded too. So it's just a little herping weight action. The night sleep apnea, secondary PTSD with Nexus. Now, what appeal, David? That's the biggest thing that gets denied a lot. But then also the Nexus, again, you got a Nexus letter, but what Nexus letter? Who did the Nexus letter? How was the Nexus letter written? Was the Nexus letter arguing aggravation or causation? Did the VA deny you because of causation and not aggravation? If the argument was aggravation and they're saying it wasn't caused, that's an appeal point. I'm not saying that this was caused by PTSD. I'm saying PTSD aggravated the sleep apnea. So you have to properly respond to that VA, because the VA sometimes will say, well, this didn't cause that. I never said that. I said aggravation. Causation, aggravation, words matter. Financial claim, should I send it evidence? For financial claim, should I send in evidence for the ones? Yes. What are the chances I can volunteer for airborne when I get OSIT? Yeah. Well, you'll be selected. They'll put you up for that stuff, but that's pretty par for the course. Sweet Jesus. I mean, you don't have to ask the question 20 different times. Um, but yeah, no, you can volunteer for that. So that goes there. Good to know. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah. When do new sleep come into rating? Wesley, check out my pin video. There is no set date. People talking about these changes are full of shit. There's proposed rating changes that were put in place back in 2022. In 2022, they put together these proposals and they are still pending. So there's no date of when these changes will happen. That's the first thing. And whenever it finally does take effect, that'll be broadcasted, and then 3 months or so later, it'll take effect. If they have a claim pending, they're going to rate you according to whichever is more favorable to you. But there is no date. Right now, suspense date moved out from April all the way to August, but the same thing, the last suspense date was June of last year, then April of last year, and the one before that. So it's a continuously moving thing, is what I would say for that. Called the VA to see if my conditions were static. They said no future appointment exam. Mark, check. Yeah, static. You get a code, request a code sheet too, and I'll show you that there as well. Appreciate you, Sasha. Boop, 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 boop. I'm 100% P&T, struggling to get PCM. Can they flag me for not seeking medical help? No, Austin, that's not a thing. You can choose to go and get health care at a private provider. You can do community care. You're trying to get care, but that's not going to flag you for that thing. So that's not how that works. No, I'm sorry you're going through that though, but that's also the damn VA situation. Good to go. My dad is retiring and worried about it changing before his BDD process. So check out my BDD course. I have a full-blown course on the BDD navigating BDD claims. It has all the things in there from start to finish, soup to nuts. As far as your dad is concerned, the biggest difference there is again, I look at claims very differently. I don't necessarily answer things like some people would. But I would not, be fearful of change, because here's the reality. The current criteria for sleep apnea says that you have to have a CPAP medically required. The proposed change states that if you have sleep apnea, but the CPAP isn't effective in treating your sleep apnea, then you award the 50. So the 50 is still there. The difference now becomes awarding a CPAP, needing a CPAP medically, to a CPAP not working. Arguably, many veterans cannot adhere to the CPAP for many reasons. So the argument there medically as to why your dad potentially cannot use a CPAP machine or it's not effective in mitigating his sleep apnea, like again, some veterans have, Parkinson's, they have, claustrophobia, they have, instances where they're sleeping, they rip off the things. There's a medical reason why you cannot adhere to the medication, then that warrants the rating there. You know what I mean? So I look at that perspective saying that when I look at claims, I'm strategic with this shit. It's literally like the military. We're going to go this way, and if we can't or we have an obstacle, then we improvise. We have branch plans. Changes are coming. Guess what? We switch gears and we just kind of go at it this way. They're saying there's a change for mental health. I don't care. We're going to do it this way. You know what I mean? So we adapt and overcome. The arguments are still going to be there. The ratings are not going to go away. It's just how we argue them have to switch. That's all. I just want to say thank you for the huge support. Appreciate you, Jamie. How you holding, my brother? Just how have you been? Brian's in the building. Glenn, what's going on, my brother, man? What's up with you? Man, like I'm trying to stay alive, man. Just trying to stay alive. Appreciate you. Want to say thank you for your advice. Numerous videos has helped me immensely. That's what it's all about. You're welcome. That is what it is all about at the end of the day, my brother. Glenn's in the building. Glenn said, Slim P, sweet Jesus. It's been a while. Trying to stay alive. Alrighty. Let's see. If y'all have any last questions, feel free to pop them in. About to start shutting it down and get to some other things I got to get going. But pretty excited this week. We have Acer CMP classes going down. Literally just wrapped up here. Sneak peek. You didn't see it from me. Knocking out some modules. So this is for Acer CMP class on demand that I have. So I'm pretty excited for that. That's one of the biggest things there. Stuff we need to talk. You know how to reach out, brother? Reach out. I think Nayeli tried to reach out to you a few times, but you didn't get back to her. So same contact information. Reach out. Yeah, send it. But yeah, so we have that there. This is actually what the course breakdown is. So a little sneak peek, but pretty excited for that. Let's see. Just did my mental health exam yesterday, and I'm praying I'm rated. Awesome. How'd you think it go? How long did it last? Was it an increase or was it initial claim? Been good. Me and the fam are on our way to Alaska. How you holding up? We're in Alaska. Spent some time in Fairbanks, Squarebanks. Let's see. In-service event, OIF, witness buddy statement. Should I pay for a Nexus? Again, yeah. Okay, Anchorage. I was in Fairbanks, Alaska. Um, so that depends. So the question is, in-service event occurred during OIF, Operation During Freedom. I have witnesses and buddy statement. Should I pay for a Nexus? Again, what are you claiming? A buddy statement for sleep apnea is not going to do jack diddly squat because it's a medical argument you're making. So the nexus is a medical argument, not so much a witness statement, right? A witness statement is not going to speak to the medical condition I'm dealing with at times. It can speak to what they have observed, but let's say I'm arguing exposure to something, and in turn I have a autoimmune condition. Ain't nobody letter going to help for that because this is a medical argument we're making now, right? So it really depends on what you're filing, to be honest with you. Espero que todo esté bien, sublando, echar condiciones. Dios te bendiga, gracias por lo que hace. Gracias a usted. Pero mándame el email. I got 100% with 60 DOD unstable. Would getting a job hurt my DOD review? It depends, honestly. You know what I mean? I can't speak to that because certain jobs, they can't discriminate on you for the condition you have, but the requirements of the business or the job you're going for has a fitness test and you can't meet that because of the conditions you have. That may be a thing, right? Just to be clear on that. Do you know anything about space safe flights and who's eligible? Man, Jamie, look, don't get me started on that. So that's how I ended up in Alaska doing a space A. I used space A way back in the day before the internet. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But you can Google it. You can find out if you're like a guard, reserve, etc. You have the ability to take those flights. They have a whole matrix online now. And if there's space on the flight, you can jump on a flight. But I took a flight all the way from New Jersey to Seattle, Washington on a C-130. Then from Seattle, Washington, I flew on the F-18, I think it was, to Fairbanks, to Anchorage. And then from Anchorage, I took a helicopter to Fairbanks. All space A. I was also 18. So many moons ago. Let's see. DP, se me olvida que eres dominicano. Yo soy de Puerto Rico. Oh, yeah, I'm Dominican. I'm racially ambiguous. Some people don't even know. I had someone on my team who, for the longest time, just thought I was just black or something, or thought I was just somewhere else. And again, I don't do that whole I know black, I know black. No, we're all Caribbean minorities. We're all mixed in there. But yeah, not Dominican. You have a network of medical specialist experts that your client can reach out to for review medical history. Yes, I do. If you look on YouTube, go to my live tab and go down, and you'll see the live that I did with Tara from MRPY. She's one of the providers I network with. But yes, Dominican in the building. So we got, let's see, risky gamblers in the building representing from Puerto Rico. It'll throw you off. Sometimes people ask questions. I had a whole CMP I did with someone for a one-on-one. I posted it too, but it was crazy because it was like a whole CMP thing I did in Spanish. And people were like, what in the hell are you talking about? I was like, hey man, we do it all, man. We do it in English, do it in Spanish. Okay, but yeah, look up on the Air Force base on the website for Space A. They'll tell you like the different bases, locations. It's all automated now. Back when I did that, I literally had to do it daggone through like the yellow pages and call and find out what the next flight was. It was a whole mess. Yeah, that was an experience. That was an experience. Shout out to my old self, indeed. But all right, y'all, if you haven't checked out the video I put up on YouTube, check that out, Veteran DP. I touched on the 100% ratings and protections for that. Next week, I may touch on a few other subjects. So as the questions come in, that's what I'll be kind of, fielding some things. So I have a few different topics I'm going to touch on. So I got to touch on Project 25. I'll touch on some of these VA changes. I'll touch on the 55-year rule and a few different things that are coming around. So that's going to be pretty dope. But feel free to share those videos for sure. I'm going to house a lot of more longer content on YouTube. So it's better there to be able to do a thing. So there's that part. 100% P&T at DHR for condition. It was previously denied. Should I continue with the HLR? If it's life-threatening, you can. But if it's not, and it's not going to make a material difference, realistically, it'd be a non-starter. I'm big on the fact that obviously if it's something that's life-threatening for sure, but if not, I wouldn't, push that necessarily. Not that it's a bad thing, Rich, but I'm just saying realistically, like, what is it, right? That's what I would say. Okay. All right, mi gente, it is that time to start shutting it down as we get ready to finish and get back to the day. Pam, 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 pam. But yes, I don't believe in poking the bear. Not a thing to me. So if something's life threatening, get that filed. But if you're looking at, a knee condition and you're already 100% P&T, uh, you know what I mean? Unless it's going to give it SMC or something that's going to cause another issue or something that's going to be potentially, what is it? Ancillary benefits. Ancillary benefits, if it's ancillary benefits, that's different. So one of my advisors, her husband has MS and he needed some accommodations for his back condition. But because he wasn't ready for his back, he couldn't get that approved for ancillary benefits. So sometimes, like the knee condition, okay, not an issue. But eventually, if you need, let's say, ancillary benefits for that knee, that in turn will cause the need for that to be rated for you to get ancillary benefits. Ancillary benefits being things outside the VA, like the car accommodation or sleep accommodation or whatever the case may be. Like that's another benefit there. So because you're rated for that knee, you can request things that are outside the VA. So in his case, he had MS, but he needed accommodation for his back or needed some things to be fixed, like whatever case may be. That required that back to be rated to make the argument, more efficient. Luis, dímelo, papá. What is going on with you, my brother? Hope you're well. Getting off the night shift. Neck and back was denied. Service Connect Nexus letter would be my next step, correct? Yes, but again, why was it denied? How did you argue it, and how are you trying to make the argument? So, if the back and neck condition was denied, then the argument becomes, is it direct to service or is it secondary to something else? A Nexus letter can definitely help, but again, first got to figure out what's the path that you're making for the service connection, first and foremost. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. I made it to 100% P&T in 2019. Bruce, my brother, help change my life. Is there anything I can do to ensure I make it past the 20 rule? Honestly, just take care of yourself, brother. That's what I would say. Nothing too crazy you need to be doing, man. Just stay the course, honestly. Um, as far as like the 20 rule is concerned, cost for services again depends on what you need. Like I'm sitting here literally answering questions for free, so it's not cost this. The content I have all over social is free. The classes that I do, like yesterday for navigating VA claims, or Wednesday rather, that's free. The link in my bio has all the different things that I have there, so check that out. But have at it. There's different prices there, depending on what you may need. So that's what I would say for that. So classes, one-on-one calls, etc. Really depends. Let's see. Sent us to an outgoing VA education program. They kept mentioning VA police. How real is that? VA police is a thing. They have a police force at the VA. Not enough evidence, but it's definitely service connected. Provided a lot of letters and x-rays, but no impact apparently. Okay, yeah, so a next letter may help, Brian, for sure. Send a message. We'll probably put you in contact with Tara. She's pretty solid to help with that potentially there. Yeah. Boom, bum, 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 bum. What's up, Ivan? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, it depends on what you need. So I would say, you do a phone call. So you may need a class, you may need a course, you may need some more help. So it really depends. An assessment call is the way to go. So if you click the link in bio, have a conversation, request a call, and we kind of go from there. But yeah, VA does have a police. Alrighty, so that puts us at 58 mics. So 1 minute warning. If you have any questions, get them in now as I get ready to shut this down. Bum, 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 bum. If you haven't checked out the YouTube videos, check that. So putting that out there for sure. See, 80% folks say that because I have several. I'm at 80%, and folks say that because I have several service-related conditions. Yes, you may have an argument if you're at 80, maybe for an increase for sure. So I understand what you're asking. Again, depending on what's rated, what do you have? Is there a path forward? Is there room for increase? Are there secondaries to be made? Are there denials to appeal? That's where the strategy comes into play, right? To be able to actually look at how to put that argument together and see what works for you, right? So should be able to get it higher, but don't know where to start. Again, that's where strategy comes in. So we have to assess the situation, define what the problem is, and then from there put a strategy in place to figure out which is the way that makes sense for you based off what you have. And also, if you don't have certain things that you need, start working at them to get the things you need to make the argument. So that's the biggest thing I would say there. What's up, RB? That's what I would say for that. So I think you for sure do a assessment call. Check out the link in bio. Like I said, literally go check it out. Hit the about us. Look at the team. figure out who you want to have a chat with, and literally have a conversation and ask the questions, get some perspective, and that'll go and work out. So little thing there. VID for the spouse. Oh, the VID you get for yourself. If you're 100% P&T, you go to Deers and you get one for the spouse, family, etc. Shout out to indeed a rock star. Indeed, she is a rock star. Shout out to you, Hebby. Alrighty. Well, that is my time, good people. But let's see, do you have any professional connections, medical connections? Yeah, check out my YouTube. Go to the live tab, scroll down. You'll see I have a one-on-one I did with Tara from the Med team. She's someone that I connect with and network with there as well. So yeah, I have a few people that I have in my network of medical providers and doctores. So yeah. But yeah, hit the link in bio, reach out, have a question, have a conversation with my team. This Wednesday, we're doing ACE CMP. Well, next Wednesday, that is. Links in my bio. Sign up for that. Don't wait till the last minute. One of the biggest issues is veterans wait till the last minute to literally reach out or to sign up for a thing. And then next thing you know, guess what? Then the exam comes and they're screwed. And it's like, oh my God, I'm being blah, 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 blah. Don't do that thing. Okay. All right, folks. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. We'll be back. Send a message if you need some information. Be good, y'all.